Do it. Let's do it. Hold on, I gotta check one thing. This thing's still on read only. Facebook be playing with me, yo. Could have sworn I fixed it. Business integration. Restream. Required. Public. Okay. Okay. There we go. There we go. Now I can see the comments on Facebook. All right. We lit. All right. Good morning, everybody. My name is Coach E Pierre, or just call me Emmanuel Pierre, Teddy E, however you guys, feel comfortable calling me. This is Kingofselflove live on YouTube and Facebook. Topic today is they can't control or manipulate you if you have healthy boundaries. So what we do here is we remove the fluffy and the sugarcoating, and we come with solutions, and we come with the raw and the uncut. So if you guys are here, I appreciate you guys for being here. Keep rocking with me while you are here. If you are new to the platform, I appreciate you for showing up. If you are going to be watching the replay of this, I appreciate you as well, because we are here, and we're here to educate, we're here to teach, and we're here to remove the excuses that we give ourselves, especially with this topic. Because listen, let me tell you something. We have many people in our lives, friends mainly, right? Friends, families, but mainly friends, um, that get real uncomfortable when you start to change and you start to grow and you start to elevate, right? And they're so comfortable with who you are as a person, right? With who you are before you grow. Let me rephrase that: before who you are before you grow, and they get real comfortable because of this, right? So what does it look like when they start getting comfortable with the person that you no longer want to be, right? Okay, I'm not sure what that was about, but um, keep it moving in regards to that, right? So we create the boundaries that we need for ourselves, right? So we become better. So we know that people are not playing in our face, correct? The people that don't like the fact that you have boundaries, they're upset because they don't benefit from those boundaries, right? They benefit from the lack of you having those boundaries, right? So they will call you distant, they will call you selfish, they will say that you have changed. They will give you all these ridiculous manipulation rhetorics that sound good, but what can you do, right? You can't really control how they feel about what you're trying to do for yourself when you're trying to be better for yourself, right? It's not what they want, it's what you want and what you're going to do for yourself to be better. So, points that we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about emotional manipulation versus healthy accountability. We're going to talk about how people test your boundaries through guilt. We're going to speak about signs that you're being mentally manipulated, because that's a huge one, and why peace feels lonely at first but it's necessary at the end, and how the power of detachment and emotional the power of detachment and emotional discipline. Remember, they can't control what they don't have access to. All right, boundaries are the locks between you and you protecting your peace. Hope that you guys take that in. I appreciate you guys for being here. Just to dive in, right? When we talk about emotional manipulation, right? we always, it's always important for definition, right? Definitions are key. So emotional manipulation, when we hear that, we have to think about, is a psychological aspect of it, right? So emotional manipulation happens when someone intentionally distorts facts, feelings, or situations to gain power, avoid responsibility, or get what they want, often at the expense of your emotional well-being, not theirs, but yours, right? So key traits of people being an emotional manipulator: they twist your words or make you doubt your perception, i.e., gaslighting, right? They use your guilt or pity to make you give in. They shift blame to avoid accountability. They play victim even when they're the ones causing harm. Like they like more like a narcissist, right? Oof, narcissistic trait right there. That's deep. They withhold affection or attention to punish or control. To kind of simplify it, so that for people that like the simple terms of this, emotional manipulation is not about love, care, or understanding. It's about control. It makes you question your reality, slowly trains you to prioritize someone else's emotions over your own peace. Now, that right there, we're gonna stop right there, right? Um, that's a scary thing, right? To have somebody able to trick your brain or trick you enough to the point where you start to prioritize them over you, right? Because we all know when it comes to that journey, if you've been on that journey or currently on that journey, there's a little bit of selfishness that comes with focusing on yourself and trying to be the better version of yourself. And when you're building those boundaries, those are one of the things that you have to keep an eye out on, right? It's when they start to make you question your own reality, right? That right there is a key component to somebody trying to manipulate or control you. And if you don't recognize that or have the tools to recognize that, you're going to continue to fall down the rabbit hole of putting others before yourself, right? You're going to continue to keep putting others before you and continuing the cycle of becoming a people pleaser and lacking healthy boundaries. And those individuals enjoy that. They enjoy the fact that they have control over you. They enjoy the fact that they can make you crash out at any moment. They enjoy the fact that they themselves don't have to really do much to get you to change your perspective or change your mind so that way it benefits them. It's a very unhealthy thing to have any individual like that around you, right? Because we have to really be mindful of all of that. Um, Many of us have friends that are like that are unhealed, that love the chaos, that love the negativity, right? We have family that are like that love the chaos and love the negativity. You know what I'm saying? So when we dive into these things and we have conversations about these things, we have to really be mindful of how many times it happens with said individual or multiple, right? We have to be mindful of how many times it happens. It's good to take a mental note or write it down on how many times this person done played with your emotions, your mental. All right. Take note of that because they know, they're well aware, right? That they're doing these things. They're very aware that they're making you do these things. They're making you act this way. They're manipulating you to the point where, you know what I'm saying, you're crashing out or you're doing these things. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not dumb. They're very aware that they're doing it. And they don't expect you to be aware of it, right? And if you are aware of it and you're allowing it to keep happening, then there's something that's allowing you to continue that negative cycle. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's a trauma or is it a trigger or something that you dealt with in your childhood that makes you feel comfortable to continue to allowing that to happen on an everyday basis, right? Because that can I can only imagine how overwhelming that is for a lot of people, right? To continue that habit and that behavior. I could only imagine. You know what I'm saying? I could only imagine the behavior behind that and how it can create doubt in your head on if you can trust people or not, or it creates doubt on if people truly care about you or not, or it can create doubt on, you know, who's really in your corner or who's really rocking with you. It can create so many uncomfortable situations where you feel like you have to question everybody around you. But unfortunately, when we are aware of these things, right? Now we have to make a decision. We have to change the perspective. We have to change the narrative. We have to change the behavior so that way they can no longer continue to manipulate the situation, right? We have to do that. So, in regards to the healthy accountability, right? And that comes from not only you, but from them as well. Because if they truly rock with you, um, they're gonna want you to grow. They're gonna want you to be better. They're gonna want you to show how they can help or how can they assist in regards to guiding you in regards to becoming a better version of yourself. What part of that journey would you like them to be a part of so that way they can help you, or they can become an accountability partner, you know what I'm saying, so that way they can rock with you. So just to define what a healthy accountability is, means being honest with yourself and others about what you did and how it affected things and what you can do better. It's rooted in self-awareness, integrity, and maturity, not manipulation or blame. Now, if you have a situation, right, where you guys are arguing, fighting, or you have a disagreement, and you have to explain how this thing hurts you or how the situation bothers you, there is a healthy way to communicate that without you trying to manipulate the situation. There's a healthy way to do that. For example, I am responsible for my part and I can grow from it. I made a mistake. I know the mistake that I made and I apologize for the mistake that I made. What can I do to change that so that way we don't continue down the same rabbit hole, or we don't keep repeating the same cycle over and over and over and over again, right? You know what I'm saying? You have to be able to be more aligned with being accountable, right? I know being accountable. Who wants to be accountable, right? Let's be honest. There's a lot of people that don't want to be accountable. It's just something that we just don't want to do, but it is a part of our character. It does build character. It does build, you know what I'm saying, a level of maturity, right? And self awareness for you to be accountable, for you being accountable. And that's important. You have to create that awareness. You have to be aware of the mistakes that you're making so that way moving forward you don't longer continue to make these mistakes. Your own actions without excuse or deflecting is huge, right? That means you're aware of your actions. You're not putting a but, a if, a and. You're not putting any of these excuses or words that alleviate or remove the accountability. Like, I'm sorry, but you know what I'm saying? If you would have, or if you would have, and if she would have, you know what I'm saying? Creating the blame, right? The but removes the apology, right? I'm sorry, but then you just alleviate it. You just literally remove the apology the moment that you use but in regards to a situation like this, right? There is a healthy but in this particular situation, when you're trying to remove the excuse or the deflecting factor of the manipulation, right? I do apologize for my actions. Period. Now I do apologize for my actions, but or I do apologize for my action, but if you I apologize for my actions. I'm gonna do what I gotta do to make it better. Or I'm gonna take accountability and try to grow from and work on growing from this situation so I no longer do this to another individual. Remove the but. Words mean things. Remember that when you use the word but after an apology, you don't really mean that apology. You know what I'm saying? Be open for feedback. Be open for constructive criticism. If you are a person that constantly makes mistakes, right? You need to be able to articulate or be able to listen and understand versus listen to respond. So that way they can articulate and explain to you what you did wrong, right? And yes, it's going to feel like you're being attacked when somebody's holding you accountable, right? And for people that think that you can't be held accountable, it's a lie. You can be held accountable 100%, right? So, when you're open to feedback and somebody is explaining to you what you did wrong, you cannot sit there and take it as an attack because you don't know how to control your emotions. Control your emotions, listen to understand, listen to comprehend. So that way, moving forward, when you do make that mistake, at least you're aware of what's going on. Because the moment that you're aware of it, then you can actually grow from it. The moment that you're no longer ignorant from it, you can grow from it, right? But if you're ignorant to it and then you continue that cycle, it's a choice. You're choosing to do these things. You know what I'm saying? So be open to some feedback. You know what I'm saying? Feedback is good. Constructive criticism is good. It helps you grow. It helps you become better. You know what I'm saying? It helps you become better. So, in regards to the situation, depending on how heavy the situation is, right? When you apologize or try to make amends for the situation, um be sure that it's in a moment where it's necessary, right? Don't wait like months down the line to try to apologize about this thing that went on, right? You don't wait months down the line to apologize. Like, that's crazy behavior. You know that you were wrong, right? Remove your ego, remove your pride. You know that you fucked up. You know that you made a mistake. Be willing to accept the fact that you made that mistake and apologize appropriately. Here I said appropriately because, like I said, some people like to add the but. You know what I'm saying? So apologize appropriately, so that way, and genuinely, please, Jesus Lord. Okay, so in regards to this apology thing, right? We have people that will like to apologize just to apologize and don't mean anything that's behind that apology, right? And that's not and that's in reference to just them apologizing, right? They don't really care what really happened. They're not using the but to kind of alleviate to remove the apology itself or the emotion behind the apology. They just or the genuine energy behind the apology. They just apologizing so that way they can just get you out their face, right? You do have people that do that, so be mindful of that as well. When people want to, you can tell by the energy if it's a genuine apology or not. If you're a person that pay attention to energy, pay attention to behavior, you'll be able to recognize when when somebody's making amends or apologizing genuinely, respectfully, honestly, transparent, right? Your energy will be able to tell if it's a genuine apology or not. And your energy can also tell if it's bullshit. And if you know that is bullshit and you can feel that is bullshit, you don't even have to react. You're aware, right? Let them get it out the way. And then just make a decision on if you want to stick around being around this person or not. Then you have the decision to make. Am I gonna continue to be around this person, or I'm just gonna move out the way? You know what I'm saying? Like, you have that decision now that you're aware of how they operate and how they move. You know what I'm saying? You have to remember that your boundaries are for you first, right? You set your boundaries and then you make sure that the boundaries that you set that you also adhere to, right? Because the boundaries are for you first. Because once you adhere to those boundaries and those boundaries are standing firm, okay, you can vocalize your boundaries to other people. So that way they're aware that you have boundaries. But the moment that they step over your boundaries, if you are standing firm on your boundaries, then that means you're not willing to falter that or play games with your boundaries. and you have to make a decision. Are you going to vocalize the boundaries that they stepped over and make them aware so that way you guys can continue the friendship? Or you're just gonna be like, "Mm-mm, yeah, no, they did that, and I don't think I want to explain myself. I already explained myself on what my boundaries look like the first time. I'm just gonna move out the way. I don't really want to have to constantly explain every time they make a mistake or every time they do something wrong, and it's stepping over my boundaries, which is understandable, right? That's very respectable. That's very understandable. You don't have to do that. But if you do value that friendship or value that relationship you have with that person and you want to just communicate that, then communicate that they stepped over a boundary. There's nothing wrong with communicating it. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with being honest with them. Like, listen, like this is what happened. You stepped over my boundaries. I don't appreciate the fact that you did that. You know what I'm saying? I did vocalize my boundaries to you the first time, and I'm a person that does give chances. So I want to and I do value our friendship. So let me give you the opportunity. Let me just be open with you and explain to you, you know, that you did step over my boundaries and I didn't appreciate that. And I just always hoping that we can have a conversation about it. If they're willing to have a conversation about it and take accountability, then go for it. If they make excuses, then you know what you need to do. You know what I'm saying? You got to focus on the solutions. You got to focus on the growth, right? In regards to what you're trying to do for yourself, in regards to trying to become the better version of yourself, right? Solution comes with an amazing feeling when you can find the solution to a situation, right? When you can grow from a situation where you're not being guilt tripped or you're not being punished for a certain thing or a certain situation, right? Or trying to be the better version of yourself. Imagine being around people that feel guilty or trying to guilt trip you or punish you because you're trying to be better. Doesn't that sound crazy? I think that sounds crazy. You're trying to punish me. You're trying to attack me because I'm trying to be a better version of myself because I don't feel comfortable with the person that I am. That's crazy work. That's crazy behavior. I'm just saying. Like, that's crazy that you would even think that you can do that or you think that's even acceptable because it's not. It's not. There's no way in hell that you thought that was acceptable. You thought you was just gonna try to gaslight me because I'm trying to be the better version of myself, and you are so comfortable with the toxic and the negative person that don't have no boundaries, that don't have no respect for themselves, that let people step all over them. You want me to be that person so you can continue to step all over me, so you can continue to fuck with my boundaries. That's crazy work. I'm just saying. It don't make no sense. Imagine being that person. Imagine being the person that imagine being the person that has to deal with that. Trust me, we see it all the time, right? We see it on this app. We see it in real time in real life, right? People don't have no boundaries. They let people do whatever they want towards them. You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't change. The behavior doesn't change. The person continues to step over your boundaries, don't respect your space, don't respect your energy. You know what I'm saying? And you're not vocalizing the things that they're doing to you. So they continue to do it. So we have to change the behavior. We have to change the boundaries. The boundaries need to be more healthy. Welcome in, Victoria. I see you. You have to change the boundaries. You have to change the behavior, right? And what does that look like when you have healthy boundaries? People can't play in your face, right? No is a complete sentence. You don't have to over explain your no. Amanda, welcome in. You don't have to explain your no when you say no because no is a complete sentence. The moment that you explain your no, or the moment that you put like a but behind the no, but, no, maybe, like you're questioning and doubting your no, then you don't really mean no. You don't really mean no. Like, you know what I'm saying? You don't mean it. because no is a complete sentence. You don't have to explain it to nobody. If somebody's looking for an explanation, they better go speak to God for it. They go speak to the man upstairs about that. Because I ain't got to explain why I said no. The answer is no, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? The answer is no. And the thing that's really important. You're welcome. So, two components that's very important. I need you guys to understand the difference between accountability and manipulation, right? So manipulation is fueled by control and fear of losing access. So when somebody's trying to manipulate you, they know that they have this close tie to you, right? They have this close tie to you. They know that they have this strong connection with the person that you no longer want to be. Remember, just pay attention to the words that I'm using. They have a close tie to the person that you no longer want to be. So they will try to manipulate you to stay that person so that way they can still have a level of control over you, right? When you start taking accountability, that means it's fueled by honesty and a respect for your boundaries. So when you see somebody trying to step over your boundaries, it's up to you to either vocalize it or move out the way, right? Vocalize your boundaries the first time. Because if your boundaries are healthy, nobody's a mind reader. Let's put that out there. We're not mind readers. So we don't know if you have boundaries or not. So vocalize your boundaries, right? The first time. And then the moment that you see somebody step over your boundaries, after vocalizing them, you can either have a conversation with them, communicate the fact that they stepped over your boundaries and you don't appreciate that. And if the response to that is still in the aspect of manipulation, i.e., trying to control, then you move out the way. You no longer need this person in your life if that's what they're going to be doing. You know what I'm saying? You can just gracefully bow out. Let the clown have let the clown have the circus. You know what I'm saying? And move like it's normal. You don't need somebody in your life that's gonna question your boundaries after you're trying to respectfully vocalize that they stepped over it. You know what I'm saying? So you got to ask yourself, like, in regards to that, right? Are they trying to fix the situation, or are they trying to fix you into submission? What do I mean fix you into submission? They're literally trying to manipulate the situation where you submit to their ideology of what they vocalize, right? What does that look like when somebody tries to do that? Let's do a quick example, right? Let's say, Amanda, let's say that you drink, right? You don't drink, but your friends drink, right? And you go out with them and they're over here, they're buying shots and whatever, and they're telling you, oh, let's take a shot, Amanda, let's take a shot. And you're like, I don't want to do that. I'm cool on that. I don't want to take a shot. And like, oh, stop being a punk. Why you always want to be the party pooper? You know what I'm saying? Just join us and take a shot. Da, 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 da. Nah, I'm cool. I don't want to do that. But you want to have some fun, right? You want to have some fun, right? And then, if you don't have any strong boundaries, you start to question these things, right? The more that they keep going, the more you start to doubt yourself. And then you give in. Boom, now you're taking shots that you didn't even want to take to begin with. You're just banging them out, popping back, right? You didn't even want to drink in the first place, but because you didn't want to be that person just being boring and you know what I'm saying? Now you taking shots when you didn't even want to take shots. But if you would have stood firm on your boundaries, you could have did one or two things. You could have said no and stood on your no, or just left. You ain't got to be there. Go do something for you, right? Self care day. You know what I'm saying? Go do something that you want to do versus what your friends wanted to do, or so called friends, right? Because if they were truly your friends, they wouldn't try to manipulate the situation and have you take shots. Does that make sense? If it makes sense, you know what I'm saying, leave a comment. If you're watching the replay, if you're here, leave a comment if it makes sense in regards to what that looks like. You know what I'm saying? Respecting the boundaries and whatnot. Respecting and not respecting your boundaries. Um So one of the things that's very important, I actually already kind of spoke about it, but I'll speak about it again. How people, cool. I'm glad that you're understanding that, because that's a that's so it's a dangerous situation, right? When that happens, because imagine you losing complete control of yourself, being drunk when you didn't even want to be drunk, or doing something that you didn't want to do, right? You can't even control the aspect of the situation already as it is. And then now you're even more out of control with everything that's going on because you lacked control of your boundaries. I see you, babe. Because you lack control of your boundaries, now you have to, now on top of you not having control over the situation, you're drunk. So now you don't have control over yourself and the situation. And that can be a dangerous situation. You know what I'm saying? So when you create healthy boundaries and you have healthy boundaries, you have to be confident enough to stand on them. Having healthy boundaries can be lonely though, because a lot of people don't have boundaries for real. They don't have boundaries. People will say that they do, but they don't. You know what I'm saying? Because they will easily let their friends manipulate the shit that they say, things that they do very easily. And then but they say they have healthy boundaries, but you don't. You don't. You know? You don't. Because let it be that long time friend, right? That friend that you've known for like 13 years. Say, oh, let's go do this. You're like, yeah, let's do it. Because you've known them for so long. Right? Crazy work. Crazy work. I'm just saying. That's the one person most people don't say no to, is the person that they've known forever. They don't say no to that person at all. So if you want to know if you have healthy boundaries, try to say no to the person that you've known the longest to see how that works out for you. To see if they really rock with you for real. So how people test your boundaries through guilt. So when they trying to test that emotional temperature, right? They're trying to test your temperature a little bit. It's a little bit, right? They say phrases like, "You used to be different." You know what I'm saying? You don't care anymore. You know, or you're too busy for me now. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is now. You too busy for me. I'm not busy for you. I'm focused. Not that I'm too busy for you. I'm focusing on me. I'm doing what I got to do. That's your response to that. I'm focusing on me. I'm trying to make me better. Oh, you think you're better than everybody? No. I'm trying to be better than who I was yesterday. That's what I'm trying to do. I ain't trying to be better than anybody. I don't need to be better than anybody. I'm only in competition with myself. What's good, bro? Good morning. I'm in competition with myself, nobody else. Right? Oh, you think you're better than us. That's what you believe. Okay. It's not my job to make you believe anything else. If that's what you believe, then that's what you believe. It's not my job to dictate what you believe and what you don't believe. You see how that works? Right? It alleviates the stress of having that conversation, right? They let them believe what they want to believe. You know what I'm saying? Let them believe what they want to believe. It is not your job to have them believe anything else, right? Because no matter what you do, because that person is so damn toxic, they're gonna believe the complete opposite of what you say anyway. So why try to compete and try to have them believe something that they're never gonna believe? You think I'm better than you? Cool. Maybe I am. I might be. Because you clearly suck at communication. You know what I'm saying? You clearly suck at communication. Because you know what I'm saying? Like you're not understanding anything that I'm saying. You're listening to respond, you're not listening to understand. So yeah, I may be better than you. How about that? That's it. Move out the way. Or just don't say nothing at all. Let them keep talking. People will talk themselves straight off a cliff because they have no control. They have no emotional intelligence. They lack understanding. They lack effective communication. Right? They will literally talk themselves off a ledge. every time if you allow them to. Or they might just pull you off the ledge with them if you keep going back and forth with them. I don't know about you, but I'm not trying to fall off of no ledge. I'm not trying to tumble off of no bridge. Not doing it. For who? There's nobody on this planet that's that important. I'm sorry. There's not a person on this planet that is that important where I'm gonna go tumbling off of a ledge to get them to understand what I'm trying to say. That is crazy. I refuse to do that. And you should refuse to do that. Because there's nobody that important. Because they really rock with you and they really love you and care about you. They're not even gonna, it's not even gonna get to that point. It won't even get to that point. So imagine that. You know what I'm saying? They love to guilt trip. They love guilt tripping you, man. And if you allow the guilt trip to work, they will continue to do it until you just start meant to be mentally exhausted. That shit is exhausting. To have to always explain yourself to somebody. To have to constantly explain yourself to somebody. To have to constantly, you know what I'm saying? Like that's exhausting. That can't feel good. To have to constantly explain yourself, like that can't feel good. I'm sorry. Like that's just toxic as hell. I refuse to do it. I refuse to do it. I don't care how long I've known you. I don't care how long we've been friends. I'm not doing it. I'm not gonna keep constantly explaining myself. Keep constantly explaining myself over and over and over. And it's just not clicking in your head because you lack whatever you're lacking to understand what's going on. Like that's wild as hell. I'm not doing it. You know what I'm saying? And what's crazy about it, right, is boundaries itself, right? When it comes to boundaries, boundaries don't create distance, right? It reveals intentions. What does that mean? It reveals the intention of the other person if they can't respect your boundaries. If you have healthy boundaries set in place, right? It shouldn't create distance for people that care about you, that truly rock with you, that truly want to see you grow, that is truly appreciative of the person that you are and the person that you're becoming. If you vocalize your boundaries and it's a problem for them, right? And they start acting like they need that control. They need, you know what I'm saying? That it's like they're itching at it, then that's a problem. They literally just showed you who they are as a person. That's it. They literally just showed you who they are as a person. And it's up to you, right, to not be tunnel visioned. It's up to you to pay attention to those cues. Pay attention to that, to all of that. People, one thing that I've noticed, right, in the 5 years that I've been working on myself, fully working on myself, people's energy, people's body language, people's behavior will snitch on them in real time on the type of person that they are. It will every time. If you recognize these things, if you pay attention to these things, it will snitch on them every time. But don't be ignorant. Don't be oblivious, right? Don't act like you don't see it because you want to quote unquote save the friendship or save the relationship. If you see shit that doesn't seem right, don't ignore it. If it doesn't look right, it doesn't look right for a reason. Your intuition is on point. Your intuition will never lie to you, right? And both men and women got intuitions. It will never lie to you. Stick with it. Because 9 out of 10 times, I'll say 10 out of 10, your intuition's on point. Your intuition will tell you in real time what somebody's intentions with you are. Just don't ignore it. So I kind of dived into this, but I'm gonna give a little bit of this as well. So signs that you're being manipulated or mentally manipulated, right? Because that's what it is. It's a mental game that these people are trying to play with you. Stop letting these people play in your face, people. Jesus Christ. I'm telling y'all gonna drive me crazy with this. Because I see people doing it in real time, right? It's if every time you're trying to be at peace and peace starts to feel like a negotiation, then you are being mentally manipulated. There should be no negotiating peace. Peace is just what it is. It's healthy. It's relaxing. It's rejuvenating. It's a reset. It's a lifestyle, right? Being at peace is a lifestyle. But the moment that it starts to feel like a negotiation, either you're not standing firm on your peace and boundaries, or that person is good at manipulating your peace and boundaries. They know your triggers. They know what really gets to you. You know what I'm saying? They know how to break through that wall that you build up. Not an unhealthy wall, but like a protection, a barrier in regards to all the negative stuff. They know how to break through that. They know how to wither through it like a snake in the grass. You know what I'm saying? Few things. Key points. I have notes over here, so if you guys see me going this way, that way, is because I have my notes is right here on my screen. So you constantly over-explain yourself, right? Remember I said that earlier? If you have to constantly explain every single time, over and over and over again, over and over and over again, and they're not comprehending what you're saying, or they're acting like they're not comprehending what you're saying, just so you can keep repeating the same shit over and over and over, and nothing is changing. The behavior is not changing, the energy is not changing, the mood's not changing. Then you're being manipulated in real time. It's a real time factor, and you have to pay attention to those cues because that's huge. That is huge, and this doesn't go for friendships or romantic relationships. Family does it, right? Your boss does it. We got some toxic ass bosses, guys. You know what I'm saying? Welcome in. I don't know who just came in here, but thank you for coming in. Um, it's a crazy thing. So over explaining yourself is one of the biggest things when it comes to being manipulated mentally. Um, Remember I mentioned being tired, being exhausted after every conversation, after every situation. Communication shouldn't be exhausting. Conversation shouldn't be exhausting. If you're exhausted after a conversation, a simple one at that, like explaining your boundaries, explaining to the person that they did something shady and you don't appreciate it, right? When you're not trying to take a physical or violent route and you're trying to take a positive verbal route and they can't comprehend what you're doing and you feel drained just having that conversation, just stop. There's no point of continuing the conversation because it's not going anywhere, right? And your body will tell you on how exhausted you feel. Your energy will tell you. So when your energy starts to feel exhausted, you feel exasperated, you just feel like your cup is empty and you need to replenish, yeah, just walk away. Walk away. It's not even worth it at that point. Um you start doubting your memories or emotions, i.e., maybe I'm overreacting, right? They got you to the point where you start doubting yourself. Imagine that. Imagine them just being able to really make you doubt yourself. and doubt the fact that you're actually right in the situation and they're wrong, right? Even though you know that you're right, right? Even though you know that they stepped over your boundaries, you know for a fact that, that this shit don't feel right, this shit don't seem right, but they're so good at just hitting you with that. Just keep going, right? Now you start questioning your own emotions and how you feel about the situation. Now you start doubting the things that you remember about the situation, right? The things that you recollect about how they played you and how they made you feel. You start doubting these things. That's crazy. Nobody should have that level of control over you. Nobody. I don't even care how much you love this person. Nobody should have that level of control for you over you. The love you have for yourself should supersede the love that you have for anybody, even your children, people. Yes. Because if you don't love yourself to the fullest capacity, then you can't really show the love that your children deserve. Because something's gonna trigger you. Something's gonna attack you from your past. Something's that's gonna it's gonna hit. And if you don't have the tools and the guidance that you need, then the reaction that you provide to that said situation or circumstance, it's not gonna be a healthy one, right? So yes, love yourself. Self-love. Water shirt for a reason, right? Important. You have to love yourself to the fullest capacity. So that way you can provide the overflow of what's in your cup to everybody else. Your children, your friends, your family, your spouse, if you have one, right? Work, your business. Everything else outside of self gets the overflow. You get to delegate where the overflow goes. But if you don't have an overflow to give, then you shouldn't be giving anything to anybody. Just saying. Um, I see this a lot, and I'm sure you probably have too. If you're here or you're watching this, they flip the situation to make you look like you're the problem. They make you seem like you're the problem, right? I ain't do nothing to you. I don't know why you acting this way. I can't believe you're treating me like this. They gonna do whatever they gotta do to make it seem like you the problem. And if they're really a toxic person, they start what do you call it? They start getting people they start getting people to agree with their bullshit. So that way they don't like you either. You know what I'm saying? Start recruiting people to not like you because of said situation. Now you got a group of people that don't like you. They don't even know you off of the strength of somebody else that have too much control over your life and over your boundaries and over your mental. It's crazy. You know what I'm saying? They have control over the whole narrative in real time. You know what I'm saying? Like that's crazy work. That's a scary thing to have that. Somebody have that much control over you? Shit. Couldn't be me. Don't get it twisted though. I've had my moments. Okay. But this was many years ago. Many years ago. I had pretty decent friendship with this person. I want to say there was 6 years, give or so. Friends for a minute, right? Anytime this person had an issue, they would come to me. Anytime they needed money, anytime they needed advice, anytime they needed anything, right? They would come to me first. Now, me being the person that I was at the time, I didn't recognize that they were using me, right? It was the moment that I said no is when I realized that they were using me. because the reaction that I got was so off-putting to the reaction I would normally get. I was like, yo, you good? You straight? Because why are you acting like this? Yo, you ain't never told me no before. I can't believe you told me no. Well, no, motherfucker. Like, I don't know. Like, what you want me to cry about it? You want me to cry with you? Like, no. The answer's no. But I really need it. It's not my problem. Figure it out. Damn, that's shady, yo. I mean, it is what it is. I don't really know what to tell you, bro. I don't know what to tell you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's just what it is. The answer's no. But that's when I knew I need to get this motherfucker out of my life. Cause ain't no way. Ain't no way you reacted like that. You over here reacting like a child. Cause I told you no. But when somebody is not used to hearing the word no, right? That's what happens. You know what I'm saying? So I know I phrased when I explained that when you start to gain a level of peace in the beginning, it does feel lonely, right? Because you have to look at everything around you overall, right? To see if it aligns with who you're becoming, right? As a person, it has to align with who you're becoming. So you're looking at everything. You're looking at your friends, your family, your environment, right? Your relationship. Because if you think you don't grow and change while you're in a relationship, you're lying to yourself. That's why constant communication, and you have to pay attention to these things, to these cues, to the changing of the behaviors, the movement, the mentality. Things change. Nobody stays the same, right? It's impossible because we're meant to grow. We're meant to be forever students. If you are a forever student, then you're constantly growing. You're constantly trying to be better. You're constantly educating yourself, right? Knowledge is power. So you're always trying to one up the person that you was before. So you do have to pay attention to all of these things, right? You have to pay attention to your behaviors. You have to pay attention to the mentality. You have to pay attention to everybody else that's around you, right? When you're trying to become better, because they don't recognize this person. They don't know this person. You don't know this person, right? Because this is all new to you too. So you have to relearn yourself after becoming the better version of yourself. You have to relearn your whole mentality. You got to relearn who you are. So that way you know how to operate on an everyday basis moving forward. So now when you learn how to operate as yourself, this new version of yourself, right? This better healed version of yourself. The person that knows how to operate in a healthy way. I see you, bro. What's going on, Jason? You know what I'm saying? The person that's operating in a healthy way. Now you can operate in a healthy way, right? You got boundaries, healthy boundaries. Yes, you're standing firm on your boundaries. You're confident of the boundaries that you have. You're disciplined in the boundaries that you have. Now you have to look at everybody else, right? Panoramic view. You got to check. You got to look at your family, your friends, your relationship, your work relationship. You got to look at all these things, right? And make sure that they're aligning with the person that you currently are. Because the moment that it's not, then there's some changes that need to be made. And that change is going to hurt in the beginning, but then you're going to realize how healthy it is at the end. You know what I'm saying? It's going to feel healthy at the end. It really is. You know what I'm saying? It's going to feel lonely. You know what I'm saying? When you're detoxing from all of this craziness that you were used to, all the chaos, all the negativity, all the rah-rah, you know what I'm saying? All the arguments, the fighting, the over explaining, the constant noise. When you're detoxing from that shit, there's a level of overstimulation that happens, right? You feel overstimulated because your body's so used to these things that it's trying to readjust to the person that you are now. So there's trying to readjust to the peace. It's right. It's trying to readjust to the quiet. It's of trying to readjust to the positivity, to the healthy, right? It's trying to remove all of that stuff. Now, don't get it twisted. Chilling, bro. Got a little work done on my current murder mystery story. Let's go. I see you, bro. Proud of you, man. I gotta work on my next book too. I don't know what it's gonna be about yet, but I had a structure of one that I created. I'm gonna have to go back and read it. But yeah, when you're working on all of this stuff is crazy. Like it's not an easy thing. This healing journey is not even easy, right? I tell people this all the time. When you're trying to heal to become better, all of the stuff is not easy. It's very overwhelming. It's very exhausting. But at the end of the light, at the end of that tunnel, right? At the end of that light, it's a beautiful person behind that light. You know what I'm saying? It's a beautiful person behind that light. You know what I'm saying? Right? One of the things that people struggle with when having boundaries and when trying to be healthy is the silence, right? That silence, that quietness. Like we all know somebody that can't sit in the silence too long. Like they have to cause chaos, right? I.e., post a toxic ass something on Facebook or post something toxic on some type of streaming on some type of platform. They have to start some type of drama because it's too quiet, right? They're scared of peace. They're scared of positivity. They don't know how to operate in it. So they have to create chaos. They have to cause chaos just so that way they can feel good because the chaos feels normal to them. And that right there is a trauma response and it's a learned behavior. Chaos is a learned behavior. When somebody needs chaos and chaos feels like peace to somebody, that's a learned behavior. That's something that they were taught or something that they experienced. So it feels normal. So when peace happens and you're starting to see the peacefulness and you're starting to hear the peacefulness, which is i.e. the silence, you don't have to worry about all the negativity and all that stuff, right? It's scary because you're not used to it. You're just like, what the fuck? Like, if I stay quiet right now, you see how quiet it is? See how peaceful that is? That shit would scare somebody that lives in chaos. That shit would scare somebody that lives in chaos. As quiet as it is right now, would scare somebody if they don't recognize what peace looks like or how it feels. It would scare them on a crazy level. Crazy level. You know what I'm saying? And when you inherently choose to be peaceful, inherently choose peace, when you inherently choose positivity, when you're inherently choosing your boundaries, when you're inherently choosing to be healed or healing, right? You're not losing people in the process, okay? You're not losing people in the process. You're losing distractions. You're losing people that distract you. That's all you're doing. You're losing people that distract you. You know what I'm saying? Because in regards to peace, it does acquire solitude in order for you to be aligned with it. Before you can align with peace, before it attracts alignment, solitude. You have to be okay with it. You have to be okay with it. Or you will revert back to old habits just so you can feel comfortable. You know what I'm saying? Just so you can feel comfortable. You know what I'm saying? So when you're detaching from everybody or detaching from things that is quote unquote disrupting your peace, right? You have to be mindful that it is clarity. Okay. You're giving yourself a level of clarity when you're detaching from these things because you know the things that you know the damage that it does to you. You know how it makes you feel. You know the energy that it drains. You know how much of your cup that it takes in order to constantly deal with things that don't align with your peace, your solitude, your, you know what I'm saying, your foundation of positivity and respect and space, right? It feels weird for others. It's going to feel weird for you in the beginning, but just know that you're giving yourself, your body, and everything a sense of clarity that everything is okay. That it may feel different. It may feel different. It may seem different. It may seem unrecognizable because that's not something that you're used to. But don't run from it. Embrace it, right? The moment that you start embracing it, the more it becomes a norm, right? And the more you continue to allow it to be a part of you, the more it becomes a norm. You don't have to indulge in the negativity. You don't have to indulge in the chaos. You don't have to allow people to manipulate you. You don't have to let people control you. You can make the decisions on moving out the way if you choose yourself wholeheartedly, right? 10 toes down. You choose yourself to be better, to grow, to elevate, right? Get what you need. Get with somebody that's in the that's in the profession of educating you to be better. Get a life coach, get a therapist, and key. If you're gonna go to therapy, I'm saying this in real time. If you're gonna go to therapy, please, for the love of God, be transparent with yourself before you step into that room. Okay? We have too many people going to therapy lying to their therapist on what they're struggling with, right? If you don't know what you're struggling with yet, do not go to therapy until you do. Because what you're going to do is you're wasting your time, your money, and the therapist's time because you really don't know what you're struggling with. But if you know what you're struggling with and you're transparent about it with yourself first, go get some help. Please, by all means, because I'm all for it. You know what I'm saying? But if you guys have any questions that are here, feel free to ask a question. Got a few more minutes till I get out of here. So if you have any questions for me, feel free to put a question in. If anything else, I will definitely end this. I'll end the stream and we will have this we'll have the stream recorded live on Facebook and on YouTube so you guys can rewatch it. So any questions for the people that are here? Or if you guys want to come up, I can put the request. I can put the link for you guys to come up too if you guys want to come up. So just let me know. So I know these are tough conversations to have with yourself and others. I know it's not an easy thing to work on either, but we're doing our best, right? We're only human. So continue to be great, continue to move in a positive way, right? Always look for the solution, right? When there's a problem, there's always a solution to the problem. Look for the solution. Find what's necessary so that way you can continue to grow. Knowledge is power, education is key. Experience is everything because experience breeds wisdom. You know what I'm saying? So find the solution, learn the lesson. The lesson will provide you with the experience. The experience will provide you with the wisdom. It's a trickle down effect, guys. But I probably go live. What's today? Today's Wednesday. I'll probably do another one Friday. I'll do another live Friday. I'm bringing another topic Friday. But if you guys don't have anything else, I appreciate you guys for being here, for rocking with me. You guys are truly amazing. Continue to work on yourself and be intentional about you. Don't allow anybody to make you believe that you can't be number one priority, because you are supposed to be number one priority. Because everybody attached to you needs you to be the top priority. So that way you can be there for them in the healthiest way possible. And I'm only talking about the people that support you, not the people that try to manipulate and control. You know what I'm saying? In the world full of negativity, make sure y'all choose love and love on purpose. Make sure y'all keep life simple. Love is the glue. Respect is the flavor. You dig, you dig, you dig. Make sure y'all live within your value energy, and I pity the fool.